Hello, my name is Gemma. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to pick some more books for November from the jar, and we're going to talk about buddy reads, and we're going to talk about book clubs. And before we do any of that, we're going to have a little recap on how things went last month. So October was a tough month for me work-wise, so I didn't get anywhere near as much read as I would have liked. You will see in my wrap up how little I read, but let's just recap. There was Victober. I picked 5 books for my TBR. I am currently in the middle of one, and I haven't read any of the others, so that didn't go great. And then we had the TBR jar. So I picked my 4 prompts. We had a classic, which is Aurora, Floyd by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, which is the Victober book that I'm still in the middle of. Well, closer to the end than the middle, but still, still a chunk to go. But we'll say completed, because I will finish that book, but just in November. Then I also picked a book recommended by Savage Reads, Simon Savage over at Savage Reads, and I picked Mrs. S by Kay Patrick. Again, I have started it, I'm like 2 chapters in, but started and will finish, so that one is good, is done. Then we had a Hugo Prize winner or nominee, and I picked Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. No, didn't start that, so we're just going to put this back in here for another day. Oh, my jar's fallen over. Catastrophe. And then I also picked Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. No, didn't get to it. Really wanted to, but didn't. So that is also going back in the jar. So 50% this month, which is not great, is it? It's not. It could be worse. Let's go with that. It could be worse. So we're going to pick a new 4 this month. And hopefully I'll manage to read all 4 this month. We'll see. So we'll pick one of each colour again. So purple one first. So the colours do correspond to something, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So, okay. So the first one is, I don't know if you can see that, a Rudi pick. So I shall pick 2 books and let Rudi choose which one, and insert the footage. It could be messy. Rudi pick. For those that don't know, Rudi is my dog, and he is a law unto himself. Okay, so I asked Charlie to pick 2 off the shelf for Rudi to choose from. I'm a little bit concerned about his choice in books. He's picked Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses and Tryptych by Karin. It would actually be good if Rudi picked this one, because I borrowed this off my friend about 3 years ago and haven't returned it. So those are our choices. They're both very large. Let's have a look. Tryptych is 510 pages. Satanic Verses is like 540 pages. Thanks, Charlie. So let's see if we can get Rudi to pick one. I don't know how well this is going to go. Rudi, which one? That didn't work very well, did it? Let's put it this way, because I don't want to dribble on my book.
Go on then.
You picked the Satanic Verses. Rudi has picked the Satanic Verses. Do you have anything to say about your decision? Jodie! So let's pick a yellow one. Okay, so this is Mossflower by Brian Jacques. So this is a middle grade series that was written in the 80s. I read a load of these when I was a kid, not all of them, but a load of them. And then I reread Martin the Warrior, which is the first book in the series, with my good friend Jacques as per Book Joy last year. And I was like, oh, I'd love to read the rest of them. Have I? No. So this is me attempting to do that. So yeah, actually I think a nice, cosy, anthropomorphic middle grade is just what I need. It's set in like a wood, and it's all about woodland creatures. Martin the Warrior is a mouse. So yes, very much looking forward to that, and highly recommend if you have children. It's a great series for kids. So yes, so what have we got? We've got a purple and a yellow, so we'll go for an orange next. I'm going to go right to the bottom and pick this big chunky orange. I don't know what it is, obviously. Oh, okay, so this is a book recommended by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. So I'm going to have a look at her, I don't know if she did a Best Books of the Year so far. I think she did. If not, I'll go to her Best Books of the Year from 2022 and I'll pick a book recommended by Jolene. And Jolene has fabulous recommendations, particularly for Canadian lit. So if you haven't followed Jolene, then head over. She'll be linked below. Okay, so I've just checked out Jolene's Best Books of the Year so far. I went for fiction because I've already got a big non-fiction TBR. Sorry, Charlie's just giggling randomly in the background. Yep. So I've gone for her number 2 pick, which was My Sister's Keeper by Jodie Picoult, which I do have on my shelf somewhere, but I'll be honest, I can't find it right now. I'll find it later. And this is about a girl who was born to medically support her sister. It's supposed to be heartbreaking. There is a film which I think I've watched, but many years ago. So yeah, I'm going to pick that. I did also really want to read Jolene's number 1 pick, but it's massive and there's just no way I'll get to it in November. So yes, picking that for this prompt. So now I just need a green one. Okay, so this is a genre, and we have dystopian. Oh, I know what I need to choose for this one. Wait here one moment. So, the ultimate dystopian that everybody has read except for me would be Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. So this is literally like the whole world dies except a handful of people, I think, and it's how they sort of get through as a group. I don't know too much more about it. I think the less I know the better going in. It's definitely dystopian and it's definitely one I've been meaning to get to for a long time. So Station 11. Oh, I'm quite excited because this wasn't really on my radar to read anytime soon. So yes, that sounds good. So with the TBR out of the way, what else am I reading? I have 2 buddy reads booked in. I'm going to be reading Weyward by Emilia Hart. I'm going to be reading that with Emily from November Novels and her lovely sister Charlie from Charlie Book Reads. And this is a story of 3 generations of women. I think it's got witchy vibes. So we've got like a current timeline, a World War I or World War II timeline, and then like a 1600s Burnham at the Stake timeline. And it's about how these 3 women are sort of connected and all of that jazz. So all of those things are like massive tick boxes for me. Multiple POVs, multiple timelines, historical fiction, witches, yes. And I've had nothing but praise for this book. So very excited to get to that one. Then I'm also reading Stoner by John Williams with Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot and Jess at Stalking Kafka. And this book, I did not know what it was about before I bought it or agreed to buddy read it. I assumed it was about someone smoking weed. That is not the case. So this is about a guy, I think his name was John Stoner, and he's at uni and he switches to literature course, finds a love for writing, I think, and it's basically like the story of his life, the ups and downs, and I guess there are some significant downs. So yeah, I don't know too much more than that. It is a modern classic, so yeah, I'm looking forward to having an opinion on that book and reading it with Scott and Jess. So book clubs, 2 book club picks. I have my work book club and we are going to be reading Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler. This will be my first Butler, and I know this is an odd place to start. Most people start with Kindred, which I also have on my shelf, but I picked some like spooky books for our book club for October and November, and this is about a vampire. So this woman sort of wakes up in the middle of the wood, amnesia, discovers she's a vampire, and then she's like, how do I deal with this? And I think she's being like chased and hunted down and stuff. Sounds weird, sounds fabulous. So yeah, and I think this was Butler's last published work, so I don't think I've seen anybody talk about this one, so if anyone's read it, I'd love to know what you think, and yeah, looking forward to getting to that. Then my book club here on BookTube that I host with Alice from Alice and the Giant Book Club, and and Jack from Spread Book Joy. If you're interested, all the details are always linked below. But for November and December, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, which is sort of a gothic, atmospheric, sort of bizarre tale, I believe. I've never read any Shirley Jackson before, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that's it. So I would love to know what you guys are reading in November, and if you wanted to see all of the other picks for the FOMO Book Club, I will leave that video here, and I'll catch you all very soon with another one. Bye guys.